This is my Audi A3. And for 5 months now, it's been off the road due to bent valves at my own mistake. The story started in August last year when I bought a lightweight crankshaft pulley which was the wrong one for my engine. This led me to putting the original one back on wrong and slipping the timing chain, causing the valves to bend. Since then, I stripped down the engine, took the head to a machine shop to have all new valves put in and cleaned up. So first things first, we need to get the intake box out along with disconnecting the battery. Once we've got the airbox out and the battery disconnected, we can then start disconnecting everything needed to take the intake manifold out. This will then allow us to see where the carbon flaps are and put them back in. That is one airbox out. The thing next is to start disconnecting the intake manifold from the top. So all of these cables from the purge solenoid, the PCV pipe. We need to get the oil filter out so that we can get to the bolts for the intake manifold, and let's go from there. There we go. Now that's off, we can disconnect the camshaft position sensor. Now the little trick that I've found is if you stick a screwdriver in there and twist, being gentle, they should pop off. And then slide that one off. So next we need to get this fuel rail off. So I imagine T30, yeah. So I couldn't find a wrench, so I found the next best thing, which is Halford's advanced screwdriver, of course. Let me just disconnect this fuel rail. Now we can try and get the oil filter off that. There we go. So now I'm gonna disconnect all of these cables. As I said, just get yourself a screwdriver, poke it up, give it a bit of a wiggle, and it should come straight off. Next one is down here. Now this one's quite hard to get to. There we go. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate Volkswagen Audi Group connectors. The electrical connectors are the biggest pain in my life when working on these cars. So next we're actually going to take the vacuum pipe from the purge solenoid and get it all tucked up out of the way. Okay, now comes the hard part, is slipping pipe off. You can use a screwdriver very gently, give it a wiggle. Just be very careful that you don't split the pipe, because I've done it before and it is not pleasant. There we go. Right, that one's off. Let's disconnect that clip. Need a bigger screwdriver for that one. There we go. And tuck him over there. So there's actually 2 T30s for this wiring harness down here, upside down, which they're not too tricky to get to. Keep twisting the T30 bit and hope that it slides in.
That's what she said.
Right, and then kind of just let this one hang where it needs to be. I have actually got an oil leak down here as well, coming out onto the gearbox. I think from when I did the job before, because this was the only gasket that I didn't replace, but I just tried cleaning it with white spirit because I didn't have anything. So getting this intake pipe off is going to be quite hard. That down there, this rubber pipe is onto the throttle body, about that much I would say. It has come off recently though, so that might be easier. Or I disconnect it here and see what we can do. I did install a throttle body spacer. However, I think I'm going to take it off because since installing it and the issues I've had with this car, it has thrown up throttle body position sensor codes, and I have a feeling that it's going to be that. Maybe I'll try it again in the future, I'm not sure. But if anybody knows why I'm getting throttle body position sensor codes, and is it because of that, please let me know in the comments, because I could not figure that out. It's one of the best screwdrivers I ever bought. That just goes in there like that, and then you've got a bendy ratchet. Let me come back once I've got this off. Okay, so I still haven't got it off. Jubilee clip is basically dismantled, so I'm sure when it actually comes to taking it off, we'll be all right. Let's undo this fuel line, take this pipe off. There we go. And that also unclips from the rocker cover. Undo this fuel line. Doesn't need to be undone all the way, just enough so it's got some slack. I'm gonna crack this fuel line off. There is another one right underneath the intake manifold, which is really hard to get to, so but I'll see what I can do. Aha, it's there. This one just needs to be cracked off and set the whole thing. That one's cracked off. Now let's take this one completely off. There we go. So there is actually a bolt in there, which you can see, which I need to get out, and then that can get those coolant lines out of the way. And I should be able to get this wiring harness out of the way, and then we should be good to go and start removing all the 10 intake manifold bolts. So I've now got them off. I did actually find a second T30 there and there. I should be able to just pull them out the way. Yeah, there we go. And now that wiring harness can just hang there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think there's either 5 or 4 underneath. 10 times better. That one's going to have to be this one. You've got to come through here in between the throttle body and the intake manifold, and the bolt is actually under there. Got another one in there, and then there's, I think it's a 10mm either side as well. Crack that one off. So this is the extension I've made. Just a normal 10mm socket. That can crack that one off. if by magic. Now, the only thing that you have to be careful with when taking this off is the fuel injectors. There's a wiring harness for all the fuel injectors. Now, I do not know. I think you've got to take it off halfway and then try and split the connectors. But we'll give it a go, see what happens. Just going to give it a quick double check and make sure that everything is disconnected. It was just these two connectors, which I'm pretty sure one of them is the crankshaft position sensor. Oh, that's good. All the injectors are coming out one by one. How can I can see one of the connectors. Not easy to get to. Let me come back to you once I've got the intake manifold off.
2,000 years later.
I don't know if you can see, but right down there, I've dropped one. Every car guy's worst nightmare. Let me figure a way how to get these out and I will get back to you. I was extremely lucky, as you saw from the last clip, that was down there, and I literally had to use this torch to see, this torch to just about, I mean, you can see how weak the magnet is, to play basically a claw machine at the arcades. Anyway, let's not drop these again and let's get them in. Right, second time round, let's give it a go. To push the intake manifold back on. So I did actually end up deciding to take the whole intake manifold off in order so I could get that throttle body spacer off, because that would have been very hard to do with the intake manifold still on the car. So I've managed to get the intake manifold off, as you can see. I think you guys will thank me for not having to watch any of that. That took me an unbelievable amount of time. But it's off, and now I'm gonna remove the throttle body spacer, because I think that's partially what's causing the issue. Yeah. Here's the throttle body. I don't know if it wasn't sealing or what, but for now, say goodbye. That looks much better. It doesn't look like there's any gaps at all. Let's get it back on the car. So I've got all the injectors connected down the back of there. I've got this connected, which is the cable for the runner flaps. Got this connected again. I think that's everything. I think I can now get it back into place and go from there. First things first. Plug this one in. Yeah, first things first is. Oh, is it already lined up? No, surely not. No. So I did have to take this intake pipe off in order to get the intake manifold off. I have a feeling that's going to be quite a hard job to get back on, but we'll see how I get on. She's gone on. So, light is slowly fading. However, we are doing our best. I don't really want to be working in the dark because that's never been smart for anyone. However, got the intake pipe on and managed to fix the Jubilee clip, and now we are going to tighten all the intake manifold bolts down. So I actually started off by doing these hand tight and then decided to go in afterwards with a ratchet to tighten them up completely. Also, just a heads up, if you guys haven't heard already, I am ill doing these voiceovers and making this video, so I'm doing my best to get this content out for you as soon as possible. Perfect. That went on smooth sailing. Tighten them up quite tight. Get all of these connections put back together. So we'll connect this line up, this evap line. So we've got both the fuel lines on now. These ones in. That one in there, slide them on. A little bit of clamp on that. We'll see what happens. So as you can see, the car has started. It still misfires a little bit, but nothing as bad as it used to. So it looks like we are onto a winner. So, as you guys can tell, I am now sat in the car. I've been driving it for about a week now. No codes on the dash, no lights have come up. I've probably done about 150 miles. So I'm saying that has fixed it. I later found out that throttle body spacer did absolutely nothing. Unless, of course, you're going water meth injection, which I'm not at that stage yet. Still misfires a tiny bit, but only when idling. And it did used to be when I was driving as well. So if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I can improve the content. Let me know any modifications, videos that you'd like to see. There will be a first drive point of view video coming soon. I just need to figure out all the camera angles that I can get. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.